Question number 31. Show that the function defined by f of x is a continuous function. Okay, so what did we learn in our example questions? If you had watched my previous videos, you will know. So example question la nama enna paathom. When you have two functions, g is continuous and h is continuous, then g of h is also continuous. Combination of functions padichom. So if you have g is continuous and h is continuous, you have g of h. This is meaning g of h. G of x is continuous, h of x is continuous, which means g of h of x is also continuous. This is the representation. So in that I have f of x is cos of x square. This rewrite pannalam. I can write it as g of x is equal to cos x and h of x is equal to x square. So what is my g of h of x? It is going to be g of x square, which is going to be cos x square. So I got my function back. So I have to prove that my cos is a continuous function and x square is a continuous function. Correct? Now cos nama continuous nu nariya cases la prove panniyachu. You remember? So what do I have? First case, g of c is equal to cos c paathachu. Limit kenna panuvom? Limit x tends to c of cos x. So first replacement equals c plus h, which means h is equal to x minus c. If x tends to c, h tends to 0. Idu panuvoma? So what is my limit? Limit x, if I change the limit, I'm going to have h tending to 0 of cos of c plus h. Cos of a plus b enna varum? Limit h tends to 0 of cos a cos b plus sin a sin b. Minus sin a sin b. Correct? For cos it is going to be minus. So it is going to be minus sin a sin b. Plus irundhudina minus, minus irundhudina plus. So when I apply the limit, I'm going to have cos c cos 0 minus sin c sin 0. So this is going to be cos c. This term is going to be a 0. Sin 0 0 nu vandrum. So in that enna irukku? Cos c equals cos c. So cos is a continuous function. Cos x is a continuous function. Similarly, if x square is continuous function prove pannom. So how do you prove that? You have h of x is equal to x square. So h of c is equal to c square. First step mudijide. Now what is my limit? Limit x tending to c of x square. When I substitute the limit, I am going to have c square. So I see that c square and the c square are equal. So I am going to have x square is a continuous function. So this rendume continuous na enartham? I have g is continuous. Please write it completely. G is continuous and h is continuous, which means g of h of x is also continuous, which means cos of x square is equal to f of x is a continuous function. Okay, it is very, very simple. Rendu function continuous nu prove panita, the combination of that is also going to be continuous, is a continuous function. Okay, very simple. The next 4 questions are going to be like this. It is very, very easy. Okay, please copy or take a screenshot. Question number 32. Show that the function defined by f of x is equal to mod of cos x. In the I have a modulus symbol. What are my two different functions going to be? So if my f of x is going to be mod of cos x, I'm going to have g of x is going to be mod x and h of x is going to be cos x. Apna enna agum? G of h of x is going to be g of cos x, which is going to be mod cos x. So you got back your function. Correct? Now I need to prove that mod x is continuous and cos x is continuous. Cos x is continuous nu pona question liye prove panniyachu. So it is a very similar step. So cos x is continuous. H of x is continuous. Proved in previous question. Proved in question 31. Now, mod x is continuous nu prove pannom. We have also proved this in a lot of questions and example questions also. But in that, na oru vaati pandren. Please note it down. So, now g of x is equal to mod x. So, g of c is going to be mod c. As simple as that. Okay. Now, mod x mod x can also be written as x when x is greater than 0, greater than or equal to 0, and minus x when x is less than 0. So this is my mod x. So I have two different conditions. I need to prove left hand limit is equal to right hand limit for the limit to be equal. Correct? So, if left hand limit enna? Limit x tends to 0 minus of f of x, which is going to be limit x tends to 0 minus it is going to be minus x, which is going to be 0 substitute panna, I'm going to have 0. Correct? The value of x is equal to 0. So 0 substitute panna 0 vandrum. What is my right hand limit? Limit x tends to 0 plus of f of x, which is going to be limit x tends to 0 plus of positive x. The f of x in this case is going to be positive x now. So this is equal to, I'll maybe mark it for you. So I have x here and x here, and I have minus x from this and minus x from this. Okay. So this is also equal to 0 when I apply the limit. So I have left hand limit equal to the right hand limit, which is also equal to, in that 0 substitute panna enna agum, mod of 0 is going to be 0. Correct? So it is also equal to f of 0. So it is continuous. Which is continuous? G. Continuous function. G of x is a continuous function. So I have G is continuous. H is continuous. So G of h of x is continuous, which means mod cos x, which is our f of x, is continuous. Okay, as simple as that. Please copy. Question number 33. It is very similar to the previous question, but enna rendu functions and g yum h yum mattum correct choose pannom. You have to choose your g function and the h function appropriately to write. Ena g of h of x ku badala h of g of x nu edita, the function is going to be wrong. So please write the interpretation correctly. Adu edita correct, it is going to be all right. Okay. So ipo 33 la enna irukku? I have f of x is equal to sine of mod x. Appadina eppadi functions edukanum? My g of x is going to be sine x. My h of x is going to be mod x. Epome the main function is g nu edukonga, secondary function is h nu edukonga. So if you cross check what you have, g of h of x is going to be g of mod x, which is going to be sine of x ku badala I'm going to substitute mod x. So I've got back my function. So I have g of x is equal to sin x. Ipo nama cos x eppadi prove pannamo adhe mari dhaan prove pannanom. So I have first g of c is equal to sin c, and I have mod x pona question liye prove panniyachu. So this is continuous and we proved in the last question. So we'll just prove that sin x is continuous. So I have limit x tends to c of sin x, substitution x is equal to c plus h is equal to x minus c. If x tends to c, h tends to 0. Appo eppadi marum? Limit h tends to 0 of sine of c plus h is going to be in the formula enna? Limit h tends to 0 of sine a cos b, idella by heart theriyano, plus cos a sine b. So when I substitute the value of the limit, I'm going to have sine c cos 0 plus cos c sine 0. So this term is going to go off. So I'm going to have sin c. So in that sin c irukku, in that sin c irukku. So I see that my limits are equal. Limit 2 and the function is equal. So sin x is a continuous function. So ipo final answer eppadi eludano? How do you write the final answer? So I have g is continuous, h is continuous, which means g of h of x is also continuous. So sine of mod x, which is our f of x, is continuous. Okay, hence proved. Very simple questions idella. Okay, please don't make mistakes in your exam. Please copy. Last and the final question of the exercise, question number 34. Find all the points of discontinuity of f defined by f of x is equal to mod x plus mod of x plus 1. Okay, இப்போ ரெண்டு function இருக்கு. I do not have combination of function, but I have difference of functions. So f of x is equal to mod x minus mod of x plus 1. So this I can rewrite it as function g minus h. So g of x is going to be mod x and h of x is going to be mod of x plus 1. Okay, so இப்போ mod x வந்து continuous நம்ம already prove பண்ணியாச்சு. இப்போ mod of x plus 1 prove பண்ணலாமா? So I have h of x is going to be x plus 1 with a mod. So I have h of c is going to be mod of c plus 1. Okay, this is my h of c. So first I need to prove that h of x is continuous, correct? So அப்ப இந்த இடத்துல first x plus 1 எப்படி எழுதலாம்? So I have, it is going to be simply x plus 1 when x is greater than or equal to minus 1. Do you agree? So how am I writing this? For mod x, what did you see? X when x is greater than or equal to 0 and minus x when x is less than 0. இது பார்த்தோமா, இது எப்படி எழுதுறோம் நம்ம? You have mod x na, it is basically x minus 0. So whenever you have a number line, you have the point 0. To the right of 0, you're going to have positive x. To the left of 0, you're going to have negative x. But when it comes to x plus 1, so if x plus 1 in varuduna, what is your value of x? It is going to be minus 1. So in your number line, whenever you take the value of minus 1, the values to the right of minus 1 is going to be positive, which is x plus 1. And to the left of minus 1, it is going to be x plus 1 order negation. Here, how do you have minus of x? X order negation. So here you're going to have the negation of x plus 1. Okay, so how is your condition going to look like? Your condition will look like this. So when I erase this part, I'll have minus of x plus 1 when x is less than minus 1. Do you understand how we get it? Okay, now I have two different functions for mod of x plus 1. இப்போ இது வந்து continuous nu prove பண்ணனும். How do I prove that it is continuous? First case, c less than minus 1 க்கு prove பண்ணனும். So I'm going to have my g h இது. Okay, so this I'll take it as h. So I'm going to have h of x is going to be minus of x plus 1. So h of c is going to be minus of c plus 1. So h of x எழுதியாச்சு, h of c எழுதியாச்சு. Now the limit x tends to c of h of x is going to be limit x tends to c of h of x and minus of x plus 1. When I apply the limit, I'm going to have minus of c plus 1. So I see that this value is equal to this value. So it is continuous for c less than 1. For c less than minus 1. If c greater than minus 1 pakalama. So for c greater than minus 1, I'm going to have h of x to be x plus 1. So h of c is going to be c plus 1. If limit apply panna enna agum? Limit x tends to c of h of x is going to be limit x tends to c of x plus 1. When I apply the limit, I'm going to have c plus 1. So in the earthly I see that the values are equal, c plus 1 and c plus 1. So it is continuous for c greater than minus 1. So continuous for c greater than minus 1. So for both the cases we have proved. Now I need to prove for c equal to minus 1. Ena ella cases prove pannom illaya. So c equal to minus 1 na I have to take both my left hand limit and the right hand limit. First of all, what is my f of x? My f of x is going to be equal to la what case do I have to take? I have to take this one. So x plus 1 edukano. So f of x is going to be x plus 1. So f of c is going to be c plus 1. F of x and f of c எழுதியாச்சு. What is my left hand limit? Left hand limit is going to be limit x tends to minus 1 minus. Minus 1 is the value and the minus on top of that is the left hand limit of f of x is going to be limit x tends to 1 minus of left hand side எப்படி இருக்க போகுது? It is going to be minus of x plus 1. So this is equal to, when I substitute the value of the limit, I'm going to have 1 plus 1. So this is minus 2. So left hand limit minus 2. What is my right hand limit? In the earthly c value substitute panna, what will I have? F of minus 1 is minus 1 plus 1 0. Okay, minus 1 plus 1 is a 0. So in the earthly, sorry, this is a minus 1. Minus 1 minus. So when I have minus, this is also going to be 0. Minus 0, which is going to be a 0. And what is my right hand limit? Limit x tends to minus 1 plus of f of x, which is going to be limit x tends to minus 1 plus of x plus 1. In that positive x plus 1. So I'm going to have minus 1 plus 1, which is going to be 0. Minus 1 plus 1, 0. So in that I have f of c is a 0, left hand limit is a 0 and the right hand limit is a 0. So it is continuous at x is equal to minus 1. So the entire given function is also continuous. So mod of x plus 1, which is my h of x, is continuous. So final answer எப்படி எழுதணும்? g is continuous, h is continuous, which means f of x, which is g of x minus h of x, is also continuous. Okay, this is how you write your final answer. Please copy or take a screenshot. So with this, we are done with exercise 5.1 and continuity. It's differentiability. Okay, see you. Bye.